Welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. Are you stuck in the corporate rat race, worrying about layoffs, and longing to take control of your destiny? This is the place for frustrated executives like you who want to escape the grind, live life on your own terms, and build wealth. Whether you're ready to make a full transition into franchise ownership or want to start building a side business along your corporate job, Pete guides you every step of the way. He'll talk about how to create career and income security, diversify your assets and income, and live life on your own terms. Your path to controlling your own destiny starts now.
Welcome to the Hire Yourself podcast. My name is Pete Gilfill, and I am an entrepreneur. I am the international best-selling author of the book Hire Yourself. I am a nationally recognized franchise consultant, and I'm a proud corporate escapee. My mission as a franchise consultant is to really help executives take control of their destiny, to live life on their terms, and to build wealth. And that is my mission. And as the podcast goes, I always like to answer a question. And the question I want to cover today, and it's a big one, is that what things do I consider when I'm looking at investing in a franchise? So I'm thinking about investing in a franchise. I'm evaluating those franchises. What things do I look at? So let's get into it. The first thing as we evaluate a franchise is we want to understand the experience of the leadership team. You see, it's one thing to be a leader of one company, one location, one unit, a startup. It's another to be a leader of a franchise concept that has 100 franchise locations open. So we want to have a very good understanding of the experience of the leadership of the franchise company that we're considering. The second thing we want to look at is, when I become a franchisee, what support do I get in terms of launching my business? What kind of training do I get? So what happens when I sign? What opens up the doors? What happens in terms of training and support? Number three, as we evaluate franchises, we want, as part of our due diligence, to understand franchisee satisfactions. And we want to understand their satisfaction. We do this through what is called validation. These are conversations with actual franchise owners within the franchise system. And you're really using this to find out if they're happy and if they're making money. Another thing we want to consider when we're evaluating a franchise is the image and the reputation of the franchise concept. Do they have a good reputation out there? So we want to look around to make sure that they have a good image and a good reputation, because we're buying into their brand. And then we also want to consider is what's the size of the franchise system? Do they have 5 franchisees or 500 franchisees, right? So it's much different when there's 5 or there's 500. We also want to look at, are they an upcoming concept or an established concept? Meaning, did they just launched their franchise system, or they've been around for 20 years? Another thing as we evaluate franchises is we want to look at the culture and the feel of the organization. Does it feel like you're joining a Fortune 1000 company, or you're joining a family business, right? So we want to kind of understand, what's the culture? Is it a culture that I want to be associated with or I identify with? And then, what's the marketing model? What is the customer acquisition model? We want to understand, if we invest in this franchise, how do we acquire customers? What is the model? What is the technique that they use, right? So we want to understand it, and you can validate it with franchisees to make sure that marketing model. And like all marketing models, of course, they always have to be adjusted, adapted. That's just the way it works. But we truly want to understand the marketing model that they use to acquire customers, or you'll use to acquire customers once you become a franchisee. And then, as we become a franchisee, a great thing about being a franchisee is they provide ongoing support. So you get all that launch support, all that launch training and stuff like that, but they're there by your side as a franchisee. So does that mean, as you are going through business, do you have a coach that meets with you on a regular basis, like once a month, to go through all your KPIs, to give you coaching? Do they come out and visit your location? So we want to know, what is that ongoing support we get as a franchisee? And then, if it is a franchise that you're building out the space in that strip mall, we'll call it a facility-based franchise concept. Do they help you? Do they help you identify the location? Do they help you optimize the space? Do they help you build out? In fact, some franchise companies will actually even build out the space for you. Now, you pay them to do that, but they kind of handle the whole project. And then we want to also look at, as we evaluate franchises, what's the financial strength of the franchise company? And this is a hard one. In the FDD, they'll have to list the certified financials for that franchise company. But in many cases, this may be a company that is a subset of a larger company. So it's harder. So sometimes you have to have a direct conversation with the leadership team to truly understand the financial strength of the franchise companies. So as we look at to evaluating a franchise, there's many different ways in which we look at it, but these are 11 core things that you really want to kind of dig in and evaluate the franchises. Because this is going to be one of the most important decisions you ever make, is investing in a franchise. And we want to make sure we do our due diligence. In another podcast, we'll talk a little bit about the franchise investigation procedures, the steps that you go through as part of the due diligence to evaluate franchises. But these are the 11 things you need to consider when you're looking at investing in a franchise. And with that, have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on the Hire Yourself podcast. Pete's here to help you break free from the corporate rat race, take control of your destiny, and finally live life on your own terms. Whether that's jumping into franchise ownership full-time or starting it as a side hustle. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a fellow frustrated executive, and leave a review to let us know your thoughts. Ready to start building your bridge to freedom? Visit hireyourself.com for resources, insights, and a clear path forward. Until next time, take charge, build your future, and live life on your own terms.